Thank you for starting it with a bang, Adam. Everyone want to clear that throat and cough real quick.
Countdown.
Oh, God,
Adam
dude.
knew exactly what he was doing.
I think he just gave me COVID.
Through the internet.
Good news. I am resistant to that now.
Perfect. All right. So how's the weeks for everybody? How we holding up?
I lost a couple days of it to the vaccine.
I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think they describe you as the Walking Dead recently.
Not a lot of walking.
The Laying Dead. It's a less scary show.
Yeah, just the dead.
Yeah, it's very scary seeing dead not move at all. Like,
What am I supposed to do,
Lying
Carl?
Staying
The
completely
lying
still.
dead, it's just people telling fucking just dead people lying.
Lying. Hey, are you dead? No. I think it'd be a good show. Are you ready to hop into it?
Mm-hmm.
sure.
I am prepared.
All right. Last session, the party left Mistorn for the first time in this story that we tell and traveled west to the town of Gilbershire, where they found a town in need. Children had been going missing. And after going around doing some investigations, you were able to get in contact with the mayor. And upon getting in contact, you were able to sort of secure a job for yourself, as well as sort of the last known lost child. After investigating the home, you found tracks leading further into the forest and a few spotty eyewitness accounts. The party then continued once more further into the forest to find an abandoned mining town settlement. And after investigating, found some oddities, crates of weapons that had been tried to be masked by small sort of slots of rocks covering the top. The party then continued further into the mine, finding 3 gnolls that all seemed to have some sort of weird parasitic apparition stuck to their head. The party defeated 2 of them, and then Geo dropped the 3rd down a mine shaft. The party then traveled further into that mine shaft and found 2 creatures within. And after some conflict and some battle, the party was able to emerge victorious and find the last child who was most recently lost. The party now has climbed from this mine shaft with Andrew in tow, and has sort of made their way out into the mining settlement. So that's where we are now.
Well, we should probably go to the mayor.
Yeah, the mayor, or maybe we go drop Andrew off at home first.
Well, I would think that Andrew would be better cared for by the medicine people, if they have any, which the mayor would be able to work out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I do a motion like I'm pulling over my head and I'm back still again. I think in combat I dropped out of it because I did a concentration spell.
Right.
I don't know. I tend to think the parents want to know, but honestly, letting the mayor know first, he might pay us more because he gets more control over how this news comes out.
I was thinking we could let the parents know as the child is being treated by someone who is probably better at conventional healing than any of us.
Perhaps. It's. I think whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna move. We gotta move. We don't want to be here in this little obvious smuggling location longer than we need to be.
Yeah.
So
We are moving. No.
yeah.
Okay, so the group of you start to head out of this mining slash smuggling operation and
Mhm.
start to head back east towards the city, sort of away from this large hill, small mountain structure. Is there anything that you were doing, especially as you travel through this forest?
Now there were monsters down that road. Do you think there's actually fucking dragons the other way where the sign pointed?
I certainly hope so, but I don't hold out for that hope.
Here's a better question. Do we want to meet the dragon?
It's, that's not a better. It's obviously we don't.
I do
But
want, I do want to meet the dragon. I want to fight it, kill it. That is what I desire.
wear
You would
wear
lose.
its skin.
Perhaps.
Well,
You would lose badly.
well, maybe we could go take a peek. I'm kidding. We gotta get back to town.
Andrew would kind of tug on your pants, Sill.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, the dragons are over there, big.
They real? Is it a real dragon?
If you pretend hard enough, yes.
Uh, what? Describe this dragon to me.
They're like rocks or something, and they're piled up, and sometimes steam comes out from them.
Interesting. I would say that's probably not a safe place for kids to be playing. So
Could
maybe wait a while.
but Bravo could be a volcano. Could be one of your kind.
No, this is not a volcano. Probably vents. It is honorable. It is wonderful, but it's not a volcano.
Well, Andrew, the, don't go off into the forest for a while. There's smugglers and kidnappers. All right. Don't let your brother go into the forest either.
Okay.
Just yeah. Unless you got a big strong adult with you. All right.
He would sort of reach for this stick that Geo has like at his side.
Mm-hmm.
You want these?
It's mine. I have it in my treehouse.
I hand it over. I hand over the mask as well.
He sort of takes the stick and ties the mask on. See, now I'm big and strong.
I see.
All right, follow me, he would say, and he would start like marching out of the forest.
Okay. So follows.
Okay,
You
you would start to see sort of the edge of town start to get within view.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Ashanet would say, "Your small ones are still precious still. I wonder how you turn into criminals."
Bad decisions.
Bad
I
decision.
look over at Sil. Why don't you tell me?
Hmm?
Surely you have some experience. You stole a cart.
I didn't steal a cart. The cart was mine.
But but you were fleeing.
I was fleeing. Yes.
You were fleeing the law.
I was fleeing being recaptured.
Slaves have cards.
I okay. Look, I stole some money, bought a cart, and hid it away so that when I made my break for it, he would be there waiting. And Gio had already climbed into it, seeming like it seems to me he was starting to steal my cart. If we're gonna be honest.
That was correct. I was hoping someone would drive this cart out of town, and they did. Oh, and they did.
I see.
At this
So,
point,
did
Andrew has like made his way towards his house,
Mhm.
kind of like
Follow.
stomping a little bit.
If I may be so bold, when you are visiting my home, please do not steal a cart.
Why would I need to steal a cart? We've got one.
Is that just fair? Please do not steal a ship either. The entire island would be angry at specifically you.
Listen.
Including the volcano.
Well, I certainly don't want a volcano angry at me. This seems impossible, but I'm not gonna talk bad about your faith, as long as you don't talk bad about my
Not
faith.
impossible. The volcano is actually alive.
Still furrows his brow, and he's like, "That doesn't make any sense with anything I've ever read about volcanoes." But I'll take your word for it. It's a special volcano on where you're from, so maybe it is alive. I don't know everything.
Technically, the entire system is alive. However, it is the only one we can readily access.
Hmm.
About this time, Andrew's kind of got to the door and he's tapping on it with his stick.
Mm-hmm.
I approach Andrew. I have something for you, my friend.
Oh, what's that?
I take out four. I've had these wasp wings that was part of what I skinned from the wasp. I
Mhm.
hand them over. Find some use for these.
It's kind of. These dragon wings.
Of a
Yes.
sort, one of a kind. Not as big as the dragons that you've seen out, but a dragon of sorts.
He was sort of like tuck them under his arms. They're almost like a surfboard to him in size.
Yeah,
And he would turn. Thanks. And the door would open. Inside, you see his mother, who is like, kind of immediately falls to her knees, and he briefly drops the wasp wings, and they have like a big bundled hug, kind of at the door frame.
Yeah, you see. Ah, shoot, what was her name?
Elizabeth.
See, Elizabeth. I got him back for you. He's I was hoping gosh, what Biff Dylan? What's the brother's name? Shit.
Philip.
Philip. Yes. I
Biff
was hoping
Dylan.
Philip. Hey, Philip, come down here. We got a surprise for you. He still calls out.
Okay, you would already see him sort of behind her a little bit, just kind of peeking out, but he still seems a little shy, but he would kind of look up at you.
So where's that big smile, huh?
You see like a bit of a smirk before you see him kind of jog off into a side chamber.
Fair enough.
I told him this would solve problems.
Elizabeth kind of look up. I don't know how I can repay you.
Tell the mayor to worry about that. We have no interest in charging a family who is just making their way.
there is one thing you could do. I would take out a handful of maize seeds, plant them behind the house.
Take them, look at them, sort of look you over. Sure, I'll plant these. Please speak to the mayor. I'm sure there's some sort of reward for saving the child. What happened to the others?
I don't know if we're gonna do what we can, but this might be bigger than we originally thought. We managed to get your kid. He was the only one there. The others have been sent elsewhere.
We are pursuing other leads. At this time, I would not speak with the other members of the family.
Okay.
You understand they make it the idea that their child has died, which may not be the case.
Now,
Right.
in a community like this, it's probably impossible to hide the fact that your child is back. So if they do ask, I would suggest telling them quite simply that you don't know.
Okay. I can do that.
But we'll be in town for at least a little bit. Anything else? Let us know.
She would kind of nod, but you can kind of tell that she's like eager to sort of have some alone time with her son.
Yeah. We'll get out of your hair. We just gotta go talk to the mayor. So, have a good night, Elizabeth. And Andrew, stay out of trouble.
Sort of just point the stick up at you as the door's like. What are you guys doing?
We may be leaving and not coming back. I will take some red paint and put the symbol on the door. The Modinha de Viúva.
Gotcha.
Like, are you gonna do it like really, really small? Or
Like about this big.
Yeah, literally Rafiki like drawing on the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another sill like squatting over there and going over it.
Got it.
people are going to think that I'm that guy weirdo who paints people's houses at random, Geo.
I give him an askance look. A weirdo? What am I doing that is strange? These people are now under the protection of the Faith God.
You know, probably in some
Yeah.
communities which are more
All right.
religious, in some more religious communities, that would perhaps be also a dangerous state to be in.
At this point, I have not found a religion that knows of my religion. If I find a religion that knows of my religion and persecutes me for it, I would be overjoyed. I would have found an enemy. He smiles.
Well, all right. So we're walking.
You are all bearing symbols of my God. We will all be enemies of this enemy together.
I think the
Yes.
volcano is an enemy of persecution in general, so that checks out.
Man, it feels like we've been walking for a while.
Well, yeah.
You headed to the mayor's place?
Yeah.
We are.
Okay.
I'm following still.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. About this time, you're near sort of. It's not really gates, but there is like a wall to indicate kind of the start of the property.
Say my name was Everett. Was that the Sill brother name?
Yes, your name's Everett. When
Yeah,
you're,
he's cousin.
when you're being me.
Yeah. All right. Just making sure.
Yep.
Cousin, not brother.
Right. Cousin.
Who just happens to look exactly like me.
You should at least be consistent.
Yes. All right, Mr. Mayor. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Shouting out the wind it doesn't seem to have like a lot of effect. Once you knock, you would hear movement inside, and the door would open, showing kind of the short and stout Mayor Rigby.
I
We have-
I picture Gio's just been sort of dragging this creature behind him the whole time.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's about this big. It's not
Okay.
it's not humongous, and it's also kind of shaped like almost banana like, because it took one very, very brutal impact to the top of its head, kind of flattening in such a way.
Yeah.
We have found both the threat and one of the children.
He would seem to be like nodding and smiling, then look into Gio's hand like, what's that? What have you done?
We're gonna go inside. We're gonna talk.
Yes, please come in.
So there are two main concerns that you have. The first is that we need to know a supply company at which we could sell a considerable amount of salvage that is perhaps owned illegally by somebody near here. And the second concern is that you have some kind of monstrous, possibly aberration-based interest settled in your old mind, which were taking the children in order to plant a aberration upon their head, presumably in order to use them as host bodies. We killed the infestations that we found and returned one healthy child.
Well, it seems like that would fix the problem, if not solve all of the equation. Is that what's doing it? That thing that you're carrying, Gio?
Part of it.
Do you mind if I? You'd say, sort of reaching out towards it. Everett, do you mind if I examine this?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was looking at the skin. Truthfully, I'm not worthy to skin this creature. I did not participate in death. I hand over the.
He would kind of like take it by one of like its tendrils and kind of wave a little bit. Ah, see business. Now, I do plan on giving you a reward, but I must preface it with it can't be as great of a reward as I wasn't originally planning on giving.
And why is that?
Define why.
Recently, our stores have been robbed.
What do you mean?
Well, imagine, if you will, a chest that I had for 500 gold set out for if someone was to solve this.
I see.
I entered to check on it, and within it, in its place, was 100 gold, sort of put together precisely to sort of resemble a creature of some kind, perhaps a llama.
You will show us this immediately.
You man.
Sure, follow me, he would say, and sort of
Show me the golden llama.
he would lead inside the house and sort of open up this vault area. And, you know, there's a few sort of pedestals set out, but on one of them is just gold sort of stacked up to look like something, maybe a horse, maybe an alpaca, something of that variety. He's like, estimates about 100 gold. And I think I know who the culprit is, but
Who is the culprit?
there's a town probably 3 days west from here. They have a bit of an authority problem, I might call it. This seems like some. If you go there and you ask in the Catagon prison, ask for a man named Gara, you should be able to get the other gold back. But I can only offer you this, he would say, sort of gesturing towards this statuesque figure made up of gold coins.
You know, I literally warned you about a thief yesterday.
I understand, but this vault is not easily opened, and the only entrance to it is a slit about this wide.
I require an explanation. Are you saying someone who is in prison 3 days from here robbed you?
You might understand better if you went. I'll tell you that if you go there, they'll be able to get you the other 400.
You are being deliberately vague.
It's very difficult to explain.
Also, you have
the-
failed to provide one of our requests.
What was that?
We have found a considerable amount of salvage that was owned illegally by aberrations which are not protected by property laws. Henceforth, what we found we can sell. Where can we sell it?
What kind of salvage are you talking? Metalwork?
Uh,
There's plenty of stuff
pretty
up there.
Short,
There's a crate of bows, there's a crate of arrows,
short
and there's
swords.
a crate of short swords, yes. There's a full-on smuggling operation happening at that old mining settlement.
Oh.
They were being hidden under like a under like a plate, so that it looked like there was a bunch of rocks. It was just boxes of rocks, but no. So very
Yep.
obviously smuggling.
It sounds like you found something of value. You're free to take it. I'm not sure you'll find any buyers in Gilbershire, though Port Gyle is a fairly large mercantilism sort of centric area. Perhaps someone could buy it there.
I see.
They're, of course, free for you to take. We have no claim over weapon stocks.
I see. Well, I think we will go to this prison, talk to this person.
Yeah, I mean, he took our gold.
Well, technically, he took my gold, but I'm being unkind enough to pass the burden along.
Correct.
Mm.
I was going to say it would have been he would have robbed you if you had to give us your house.
Correct.
Correct.
Is there anything else I can help you with? I know plenty about the area if you're looking for information or something of the sort.
What's the history of the mine? I'm just curious. There was a thing I saw there which I did not expect.
Well, as I understand it, the mine was emptied about 20 years back. They were having some trouble with gases coming up from below, toxic to miners. And we not able to bring any magicians or the sort, alchemists, to solve the problem, so they had to shut it down. I wouldn't be surprised if an abandoned mine has picked up some unwanted visitors.
It has. I think it's acquired multiple unwanted visitors over a period of time. I'm curious about a particular visitor who I think came before the creature you're now holding.
I can tell you that they were mining salt, mostly. There were salt crystals down there. Usually not very deep digging, if you can imagine.
I actually have a question. Do you know of any settlements of gnolls in the area?
I don't imagine I do. Gnolls are usually, what's the word for it?
Ravenous and
Nomadic. Nomadic.
Hmm.
Travel. Certainly something that could concern the mayor if they were of ill will, but I've
No,
not
they-
heard of such.
That's what they. That's what had been doing the stealing of the children from the homes. Was these gnolls being controlled by the aberrations?
Yes, so long as we say it's controlled by the aberrations. I don't
Yes.
wish to unfairly prejudice against the gnomes.
Yes.
Although I have reasons why that would be convenient.
All right. Anything else I can help you with before you're on your way?
Oh, any local superstitions, legends, perhaps local deities?
Hmm.
I'm looking specifically for big G gods, but ones that may only be worshipped here.
Oh, no, no, we don't have any of major religious sects here or cults of any kind.
I see. I understand. That was all I had. Thank you.
If you're looking for tales, though, I'm sure there's plenty to be found.
Looking for context, not looking for tales. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, yeah, maybe keep your pocketbook in your on the inside of your vest from now on. All right.
Not sure that would help, but I appreciate the thought. I'll be more proactive about my security.
All right. I was being figurative. You got the gist of it. So, all right.
Jewel this in a chest, or he would say, sort of gesturing to the statue.
No, we'll all divide it upon ourselves.
All right, very well.
That's what 1, 2, 3, 4,
It's 25 each.
25 each. All right. Well, somebody else want to drive today? Been I'm pretty fucked up.
I
Well,
I
we
will.
need to drive up to the mine in order to collect our new salvage.
That is fine. I can do that.
Yeah, and that seems to be in the right direction that you're headed anyway. He would also, if you would allow him, he would take sort of mark down the Port Guile on your map.
Excellent.
Appreciate
Also,
Good.
while we're here, could you give us a more specific location of the big city in Fasselrod, where like the Wizard's Tower is?
Oh, yes, there are three sort of major cities I could think of. First of all, there is Califax. It's the smallest of the three, but does a majority of the trading with Moorheimer. Moorheim, the continent. If you want to think about Fasselrod as sort of being shark-shaped, it's located in the mouth. Secondly, there's Casterly. It's the largest city. Has the most correspondence with the Tywin Empire. Very large, if you want to think about its position again as the shark, sort of beneath the dorsal fin. Again, these are all coastal cities. And then the final is Sanjur. It's sort of the northwestern hub of the Crescent Isles trade. It's past the fin of the shark. If you have your map, I can mark them as well.
I will present my map to this man.
Please do so.
You would mark them.
Okay.
Well, it looks like if we want to go to the Isle, where we think perhaps we could get some help from my mentor, Sonjo would be the best bet.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to stopping there. One thing at a time. First thing, we have to get the remainder of our money.
Well, if it's Sanjur you're after, I'm sure you could charter a ship from Port Guile if that's what you're after.
Well, perfect.
Well, if there's no further business,
Yes,
your
let us
cart
be
is
off.
outside.
I see. Let us be off. I'll get in the cart.
I
Okay.
thought drive the cart if everyone gets on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll get in.
You all load up and start heading off west once more. For the first day of travel, if someone wants to just roll a d20 for me.
I suppose I will.
Sure.
Go for it.
15.
Yeah, the weather is fair. Skies are clear. You don't have much trouble making good time. Normally about over 8 to 12 hours, 50 miles is probably about right. You actually travel a little further. You're able to push it a little further.
And we gather up the crates, right? That just happens.
Yeah, I would imagine that on the way past, you were able to pick up the crates without much trouble. Again, it's a crate of unstrung bows, a crate of short swords, and then a crate of like arrows.
All right. That'll be a good payout when we get there.
Perhaps.
Well, I mean, it's probably what 25 short swords at least. Even if we sell them under market price, say half, that's about what, at least 50 gold.
I see where you're going with this. That if we sell them all, even if alone they're only 10 gold or so, though a lot of them could be a lot. I see.
Yes, and particularly because we can sell them under market price at a profit because we paid nothing.
Correct.
All this math making my head hurt.
Was it a lot of? I think I did all some math.
Yeah, I just don't want to think about it, man. So let's I'm just gonna sing "On the Trail" once more. All right. I start singing "On the Trail" once more, which
Okay.
is just on the road again, but with synonyms.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
sort of as you all pack up your camp from the night previous, and Syl starts playing the opening notes of "On the Trail" once more, you once again head out. I would like a d20 for the day's travel.
I would.
All right.
Four.
The weather's pretty tough today. You get a lot of rain, and it's unpleasant traveling in like a cart that's not fully sealed up. You guys are pretty soaked, pretty miserable, but you were able to make it about 40 miles today. You can imagine if the map is correct, you probably will arrive mid-afternoon the next day. Is anyone doing anything over that night?
Uh,
Yeah, Bravo is.
Okay.
Bravo will gather up as they're traveling a collection of rocks, around 10 pounds.
Okay.
And then, as they're waiting in kind of camp, he will take a bowl or something, do alchemical incantations, sprinkle some salt on them, etc., turn them into water, and let them harden again as rock to create and just kind of test making a smooth, concave shape of rock with his second level ability.
Okay. Yeah, so you're able to start making progress and sort of smoothing down a stone and making a pleasant shape for it. Anyone else doing that night before sort of travel begins once more?
No, Sill's just working on new pieces of music.
Okay.
That's-
All right. So then the third day would come. Another d20, please.
I'll do it. It's gonna be a 9.
9. You make a fairly average time, and it's about 1 in the afternoon, maybe 2 in the afternoon. You sort of come to the port city of Port Gile. It is much larger than Misthorn and certainly much larger than Gilbertshire. It's sort of seems to be a fairly like tiered city that's got a lot of elevation to its elements. And it has a magnificent port sort of to the south of the city, where you can see a number of ships traveling in and out.
On a scale, is it on the same scale Sin City is, or is it bigger or smaller?
Sin City is sprawling that this city really doesn't quite capture. This city seems nicer, but then again, where it doesn't, right?
Mhm.
You can see the sky, which would be an abnormality in Sin City. And no one has accosted you since arriving at the gates. So
Gotcha. I was just talking about the physical layout, but thank you for giving me the emotional layout also.
you're welcome.
Yes.
But you arrive. The city doesn't have massive walls, but it does have a gate
Okay,
on its entrance that you kind of arrive to.
gotcha. I'm as Everett right now.
Yeah.
There's
I
two
think
guards
probably
stationed
for-
at the gate. So, what's your business in Port Gile?
We are going to commission a ship and do some business before we go.
And,
Very well.
Yeah.
But don't be stingy. What's your business?
Somebody has stolen money that we were meant to be paid for a job that we did.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. It happens frequently.
Yeah? Can you, as the duly appointed guard, can you perhaps help us solve this problem?
Yeah. Alex, you got this gate, right? The other guard's like, It's like, all right, you lot follow me on to Cadigan Prison, I imagine.
That's where we were told to go, but
That'd be the one.
I can't tell you. I have no idea where the fucking prison is, so having you along would be a big help.
In the back of the cart, Bravo has slowly assembled almost a foot of a cubic foot of stone just by slowly transmuting little bits into it.
Okay. And as he sort of turns, the portcullis would sort of raise up, and you all would enter as it sort of slowly closes down behind you. Yeah, we get lots of visitors. Same problem. It's understandable, though.
Do they all complain about a llama statue as well?
No, I can say that it's new. What I can tell you, there's only one prisoner in the Catagon prison. A fella by the name Gara, and he comes and goes at his whim.
That'd seem to say that your prison's defective, but I seem to think that you understand this, and that's just kind of an understood fact.
Imagine, if you will, you've got, let me think. Imagine an octopus, right? Kind of small, slimy, its guts doesn't have anything kind of solid to it. You know, you can have the crease under the door. An octopus could slide its body out and through, and just be gone. We encounter a similar problem, though. We imagine Gara has bones.
Small folk are so efficient at stealing.
Yes, well, and that is how octopus work. I lived here for some time. Octopus are able to squeeze their guts in their bodies in different sections. That way, it's not all bulked up and they're able to scoot through small squares. I've seen it. We have an aquarium.
Oh, curious. I've skinned a couple of octopi.
Oh. Weird. So this is Catagon prison. It's probably not like any prison that you've ever seen. But as a part of it, it's not uncomfy, so that he returns from time to time. Keep him locked up.
I see.
Not keep him locked up. You are, in effect, just giving him a luxurious life here.
Yes, well, it means that people get their things back after he takes them.
I understand the complications here. Let's go see Gara.
All right. He would sort of be leading you up and into the city during this conversation. And, the walls are fairly sandstone, and there's a lot of sort of hustle and bustle. From far enough, you can hear the sounds of, seagulls and the like. It feels very, very coastal. But you continue further up, sort of onto this trail. Sort of traveling onward. And after probably 15, 20 minutes or so, you'd come to a building that seems very sort of stronghold-y. You can see that it's got the arrow, like the notches for sort of arrow shafts to fit through, has a thick wall, but he would sort of lead you to the entrance. Well, this is about as far as we go. Probably want you to keep the cot here. I'd be sure to be clear of what you want and sort of explain to the warden what you're here for. And don't take anything that's not yours.
I see.
Heard one bloke do it. Woke up, his whole house was missing. He was just laying there in the dirt.
Okay.
I see we're in an advanced stage.
Understood. Will our stuff in the cart be okay to be left in the cart, or is it gonna get stolen likely?
Well, you're close enough you can retrieve it even if it does. And if you're talking to him, he can't, you're talking to him. He's not able to steal things while you're chatting.
Does he steal animals?
I don't think so. I've never seen anything alive in his cell. But
Okay. Thank you. It's good to know.
yeah, no problem. Sort of give you a wave, and you'd see him start hiking back towards sort of the southeast entrance.
So, can't say I feel great about going into a prison, but let's go in, I guess.
The good news is it's apparently extraordinarily porous prison.
Yes, let us go in. I still I've avoided prison. I've never been Sin City.
It's the only time I've ever been to a prison was not in one of the cells.
I see.
My father did some work for the law as a lawyer, so
It's kind of it.
Well, sometimes. When he was a defender, certainly.
All right, we'll be on our way.
Okay. Sort of approaching the portcullis, you would see probably 5 or 6 guards stationed on the inside. One of them would sort of call out, so you talking to Smith? You get something jacked from you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all right, raise the gate. Kind of as it comes up.
Syl takes a deep breath before stepping over the threshold, and then steps in.
Right. Seems to be in a good mood, so you should be able to go in and sort of snag what you need.
Perfect. Hopefully this will not take long.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yep.
And he sort of leads you into this like main central building. Again, like a very thick steel door on the front of it. He sort of takes the key out, unlocks it, opens it up, allows you all in, closes behind him, locks it, and then like does a motion with his hand, and like the lock seals as like a piece of metal moves in the wind, kind of a woo, magic hum over it. And then he's like, and continues walking further in. Sort of to the right and around the corner, and would open like another steel door, and sort of within is a glittering sort of sea in front of you. All right, knock twice when you're ready to leave.
I will do so.
Okay.
I enter.
Okay. Again, sort of within it, it is sort of gold and gems and watches and necklaces, and like even like there's some lint in the corner. It's probably a 100 foot by 100 foot. That's just got a lot of sort of money at the bottom. You can see some like weird like statues off to the side, some other stuff. But sort of between these two very like beautiful carved marble statues, there's a hammock that's like slowly swinging back and forth. Sort of a leg lazily flopped out of it.
Pardon, sir.
Hey, Smith, we're here for some of our stuff.
The leg would sort of stop.
This is Gar. Smith was the guard.
That's right, you're Gara.
And a figure sort of sit up in the hammock. Seems fairly well sort of trimmed and cut. Human of some kind. Quite thin. And again, seems to be wearing just kind of nice silks in the sort. Sleeves very flowy. As like almost they're supposed to be like laced up, but instead they're sort of left open and a little billowy.
It seems we have similar tailors.
What can I help you for?
So there was a reward in a city a couple of days east from here. 500 gold became 100 gold, and 100 gold became a statue of a llama. We were tasked to come over here to return the remaining fortune.
Oh, been to Gilbertshire recently, I see.
Yes, we saw some aberration infestation there.
Nasty business, that, he would say, sort of taking a small, like a cigar from like the crux of the statue's arm. It's still a bit lit, but he kind of...
You know, correct. It was nasty business, and we are.
Jeanette begins to rifle through the stuff.
Be careful with sticky hands, could get you in trouble, lass.
I'm not looking for.
Eager.
My hands aren't sticky. They're very clean.
Know what to saying for people who put stuff in their pockets that doesn't belong to them.
I imagine you would know. I'm looking for stuff that's
Aye.
already mine.
What you lose? I don't remember taking from you, but I could be wrong.
I don't
The
think
gold
you.
that you took from Zabel, but
the gold, but also stuff that you might have taken from somebody else that you didn't know was mine.
I'll describe it. I remember most of what I take.
It is a crown that has horns and it changes with the seasons. It's a cloak with a lot of patterning and embroidery, similar to this. Anything like that?
I have a number of crowns, but I don't believe that any of them describe what you're talking about.
Sure.
I mean, feel free to look around. Just make sure don't take what's not yours.
Now, speaking of what most certainly is ours, and we know you have, is the 400 gold of our payout from clearing the operation.
You would see him sort of stretch a little bit, sort of scoot up onto the side of the hammock before stepping out. Give a thorough glance over at the group of you. Hey, Grimace, are you in here? So sort of looking around.
Sorry, I missed like the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. They're within sort of the prison chamber, and the this figure has called out if Grimace is around.
All right, so I emerge, I guess.
Yeah, a figure that you haven't seen before sort of steps out. If you would like to describe them.
All right. He's it's an average build for a human, you would think. You can't see any. This figure is wearing like all dark hood and light armor. He has a mask around his face and like a darkened over his eyes, so you can't see any portion of his skin. Uh, you see that he has two swords strapped to his back, and there is like an opening for his armor around his neck that you could see a patch of skin, and it looks heavily burnt. And that's yeah.
Grimace, how do you
And
feel
then what?
about causing some trouble?
Who is this group?
There's a group that rolled in from out of town, but I had something in mind that you could do for me, and then I perhaps could reward you. Of course, your 400 gold is yours.
What's the job?
Are you offering it to this man, to us?
I'm offering your group the gold that you're owed, but I'm also offering the job to the lot of yous.
Say the job. I'm curious, but I think most of the things you want you can already take.
Well, that's the thing, right? You steal a pocket watch from a man one too many times, he stops talking to you. What I need is sort of twofold. First job, fairly easy, fairly compensated for it. There's a man who rolled into town not too long ago. Captain of a ship that went down. He has a wild tale, I'm told, but not for the ears of mine, apparently. So if you're able to gather this tale and hand it my way, I'll reward you greatly.
I see.
Second quest is a little more adventurous. Might require some swashbuckling.
Well, do tell.
If you're interested, I've got a ship off on a cove not too far from here. Recently, it's become a little infested by unsavory characters. If you're able to clear it out, I'll be more than happy to compensate you even more fairly.
Let's discuss the terms before we go on the mission. How much are you paying for the jobs?
For gathering a story, I'll give you a choice. You can either take gold, let's say 90 gold for the story. I think it's a fair price. Grimace, if you take his pocket watch, I'll give you 90 for that flat. I want the pocket watch. Secondly, if you're able to clear out the ship, I'd probably pay triple that. Easily.
I see.
Well, do you have any information for us about what might be waiting for us on the ship? See, we had some a run-in with some aberrations back in Gilbershire, and you know, part of me hopes that we can somehow still save the kids that were stolen. Hoping
Don't,
maybe that has something to do with that.
I don't know anything about stealing any kids, so to speak. I think these come from a much different sea.
Well, don't be vague. You've probably had at least a look at them, given your talents.
I have had several looks at them. They're not the talking type, which is why I require your services.
Undead? Just very barbaric bandits? What?
More keen to the water than they are to the land.
I see.
Ah,
I had
pirates.
I had a stipulation. Likely, we will gather this story before we return. There's one other thing I want in addition to the gold. You seem like a person who knows valuable things. You may not know all the things in this world, but there's a rare material called Villachrome. You may have stolen it before. You may know of it. I would also like you to tell us about Villachrome.
I'll tell you what. If you're able to get the story, I'll tell you all I know about Velachrome. And if any of you want to forego a payment in lieu of just picking something from the pile, that's a gambling game I'd be willing to play.
Gambling. Gambling.
I am not interested.
What is this pile?
You're kind of standing in a room that's sort of gilded and a bunch of different treasures. You sort of been made aware that this is sort of his treasure pile, and taking from it would go more than poorly for you. There are tales of a man waking up with no wardrobe, nor clothes, or a house. You don't know how much is stretched or tall tales, but
Can I ask you, sir, are you a dragon?
no, I've stolen from one though.
So I still
I suppose stole is the right word. Stealing would be if I'm doing it currently.
Yeah, they hate that. They value that more greatly.
Oh boy, do they. That's a one and done type deal right there. Take what you can and get the fuck out.
Unless you also kills the dragon.
Oh, that's not my cup of tea.
Okay, how about a starting point? Where do you think we can find this sailor whose ship went down?
Oh yes. He can be found at the Bill's Rat. It's a bar not too far from the docks. His pocket watch, right pocket, right at the vest. It's silver.
So
Probably.
if I can get pocket watch instead of instead of Grimace, what'll you give me?
What I think is cooperation is important in this. Two thieves going after the same prize leads to two thieves in a slammer, if you know what I'm saying.
I see, I see.
We will be on our way.
Ah, yes, and those crates in your cart. There's probably a man at the dock who will buy what you got in them.
We appreciate the help.
And no problem.
What is this?
How
Where's
did
this man?
you-
Where's this man? Where
I'm
can we
worried
find him?
that if we keep asking questions of this man, he'll eventually get annoyed at us and like just kill us straight.
Well, he
No, I
thought
don't. I don't harm people. Only financially.
That's true,
I
Steve.
think he's been very polite so far. I think him giving us the tip was very nice of him, and I was just wondering if he felt like volunteering anymore.
That's a man from the Empire. Out west, they're buying up weapons.
Oh, so fairly obvious then.
I see.
The
The Empire has a heavy hand.
okay, one more question. Do you know a man named Seraphim? Seraph. Fuck. What's that guy?
Don't
kind
know
of a
any
scumbag.
Serafox. Sounds
Kind
like
of
my
a-
type of guy.
Kind of a scammer. Lore teller.
There's a lot of scammers and lore tellers in these lands.
Seraphim.
What the
He
fuck
is
was
called
that guy?
Seraphim. He's an Azamar. He's like, oh.
It tells like seems like he tells tales to boggle your minds. It could be a good partner if I was going through the pockets at the time, but I've never met this person.
I see. He's. I think my mind is thoroughly boggled by him in the worst way.
He is. It's just you guys give me sort of the same vibe. Somebody who knows a lot more than they are letting on.
Not at all. This is a pleasant person. Let's be honest way.
I thank you. And feel free if you come back with my story to ask me additional questions. I'm a font of knowledge. All right, be on your way before I take your belts and your trousers. Go on.
I leave.
We collect our 400 gold first, and then we leave.
Okay. Yeah, you start sort of picking up gold and like you can see that he's watching you very carefully as you pick up the gold, just sort of one piece after the other.
Uh-huh.
Do you pick
And
up 400 or
I pick up 400. I do not.
Okay.
Take
Yeah,
more than
400, exactly.
perfect? Yeah, so after you do so and sort of you knock on the door, the guard would open it up. So you get what you need.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of close the door behind you, lock it, and
That
seal it.
is an addition, and that, my friends, is an additional 100 for each of us. I would normally split it 5 ways, except that Grimace didn't have to work his job we earned it on.
I also, your name seems unfortunate. How did you earn it?
When I growing up, that's just what people would call me with my face, Grim.
Great.
And over time, I earned the nickname.
First, there's nothing to say. Is it a face defines your mood?
To an
I'm
extent.
I am curious what your face looks like. It can wait though.
It's not important.
I would say don't ever show him your face because he'll fucking steal it. All right.
What are you talking about, my cousin? He says, an identical man to the man speaking.
Wait, okay, so
The two of them
Yeah.
are identical.
I look just like him. It's two blonde-haired elves. One is wearing like furs and tribal shit with like a wolf collar around their head. They're kind of like squatting in an odd stance. The other one's, standing upright, normal, lyre at their side.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a furbolg, so about 7 feet tall, sort of like a deer person. Has a pretty wicked looking warhammer on their back. And then there is also a man in sort of billowy robes, sort of long tied back hair. He also has a bird on his shoulder.
all right.
No. Fucking bird, man. So we got a card out here. Do you know this city pretty well, or?
I just arrived.
Oh well, fuck.
Same as us. Yeah. So I guess
Let's
we'll
head-
head over to the bilge rat, see if we can talk to this guy.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I was thinking we could go to the docks and sell what those traits we have first, given that that means, for instance, we do not have smuggled weapons in our cart.
All right, Bravo. We'll go. We'll go do the commerce first. Voice.
Right.
Okay. So you sort of take the cart and travel dockward. If you guys want to make, or two people or assist one wants to make perception checks approaching.
I'll give it a shot.
I mean, I'd assist
Sure.
if I could. Yeah. Well, like, what about over there? Does that look like the docks?
Well, I think we found the docks. I think we're trying to find the buyer. Okay, an 18.
Okay, with an 18, looking around, you can kind of hear a voice seeming to be talking out towards. It's a voice that someone puts on when they're speaking outwardly, So it's a bit commanding, and you're hearing it sort of over the sounds of the sea and of sort of the sounds of a busy dock.
Yes, that sounds like military. I think that's the direction.
All right.
Okay,
I'll
so-
follow Bravo.
Okay, so the group of you start heading. The dock itself is almost semicircle shaped, sort of stretching. If it was a circle, maybe what is that, 40 degrees or so, sort of along the coast of Port Guile. But heading across the docks, you're able to find an area that has 5 or 6 kind of dark gray and maroon clad soldiers. They stand on either side. Some of them hold 2 in the front on either side, holding what seems to be a flag of some kind. Then placed in the center, there is one who seems to have an air of authority about him, talking out towards people as they walk by. Doesn't seem like a crowd has formed, but
Is it the Empire flag?
make a general intelligence check or a history check. Up to you.
History. A 19.
19. Yeah, that's 100% a flag of the Tywin Empire.
Yes, that is the place. So I guess I'll start approaching if anyone else comes with me.
I'll go with.
Okay. As you approach, they would sort of turn to you, saying that you are indeed approaching. And you, my good sir, are you looking to sign up? Looking to be part? Something bigger than yourself?
No, but we do have something you want.
Very well, have at it.
We have military grade weaponry, which we have salvaged and are willing to sell.
Well, bring it over here into my tent. Take this pamphlet. We say, sort of handing a small, sort of folded paper to you.
I will look at the paper to see if it's worth anything.
It's sort of got like, joining the Empire on it, and then sort of flipping through either side. It sort of has listed like, we've been able to, reach these technological advancements. Traveling through air on in a vessel, moving shipments of food and supplies across the land rapidly. Sort of has a list and like the things that we can do together, sort of in the center.
Bravo squints at one item of this list, noting that later he'll have to trouble these people.
Okay. But he shows you to this sort of deep maroon tent.
All right. So as we get the stuff over,
So please show me. What do you have for me?
So we got these 3 crates here, and Sil just goes about popping them off with his pry bar. We got a crate full of short swords. We got a crate full of unstrung bows. Got a crate full of arrows. So
Hmm. Tell me, what is your name? He would say as he starts like moving the stone out of the way to start examining a few of the items.
so I have a question. This man is the place where he's from, is that the same continent where Sin City is?
No, you would know that sort of there's a Western continent, um, formerly kind of known as Ushad, but is sort of evolved into the Taiwan Empire. That's fairly common knowledge. Bravo can kind of identify from sort of the badges on his uniform that he must be a lieutenant of some kind.
Okay. I just before I give him my name, I just wanted to know that he's not from the same continent.
Sure thing.
So, yeah. So like, yeah, name's Sil. That's my cousin Everett.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm studying this man's face.
Okay, he seems clean shaven, though kind of has like the 5 o'clock shadow coming in. Again, very buzz cut at the top. Has like a pair of glasses with sort of ruby lenses. And again, is very thoroughly examining these. Very broad man. You would imagine 6'5", not a little taller.
Gotcha.
Sort of looking it over. Yes, these seem to be of working quality. I didn't catch the other names.
I am Bravo.
Bravo.
Arjonnette.
Jeanette. And what about yourself? You would say, sort of taking a glance at Grimace.
I'm Grimish.
Hmm. Yes, well, I can offer you for the bow 30 gold for this crate, 15 for the arrows, and 25 for the swords. That should bring it to a total of 70 gold for the lot.
70 gold, split 4 ways.
Surely.
Could you do 80?
Hmm.
The short
We
swords
gotta
are
split
never.
it, right? So
Yes, and also
Yes.
the short swords are never used. I mean, they are brand new, and that's still cheaper than the blacksmith price.
Yes, but look at the make. He would say, sort of pulling it out and showing the blade. These need to be sharpened. These are not ready to use weapons.
Any proper soldier would sharpen their own blade on their own.
Exactly, but it creates labor, and labor costs. He would say, sort of setting it back. You may sell it to me for 70, or you may move on.
or we could call it 80, and we'll throw in the the story of how we came about these crates that you might be find interesting.
Make a persuasion roll.
All
Am
right.
I assisting?
You may assist.
I will assist.
All right. Oh man. No.
What's
Well,
the total?
12 is the total.
He would sort of look you over. I don't mean this as an insult, but I don't imagine you carry any stories that are worth 10 of my gold. You have your deal. Take it or leave it.
I think we take it so.
I guess 70 is fine. I mean, we make profit off it either way. Yeah, confiscated it from a smuggler's camp after defeating some aberrations, if you were wondering.
One thing you won't find in the Taiwan Empire, smugglers' camps, you would say before tossing a small bag of gold. It kind of lands on the table near you.
What
But
was
we
your name
will-
again, friend?
Lieutenant Averon.
Lieutenant
But you're saying that we would find aberrations there.
Find aberrations.
Sure, the smuggler camp was troubling, but the aberrations we found in it were more so, and you did not deny the aberrations.
I haven't denied unicorns or dragons either. If I spent my time denying the things that we've crushed, boy, we'd be here all day.
You've crushed unicorns? Fuck. I think we gotta leave, guys.
Crushed unicorns. That is not an acceptable thing to do.
It is not. I'd say we get out of here before Johnny crushes this man.
What the
Uh,
fuck?
You see him sort of like lift one of the crates, like with one hand, set it on top of the next crate and scoot it over.
Move to like easy there. Hey, come on, easy there, champ. To Ajanette, like working Ajanette back in a way.
All you short people are motherfuckers. I understand you're trying to save your ally here, but move back, leave now.
Was a pleasure doing business, he would say before sort of pulling the tent furl and the flaps sort of closed behind him.
I walk.
He
a
really
fair distance
pissed you
away.
off there, Edgy.
A fucking ghost! He killed a unicorn! He crushed it, he said! Unicorns don't do anything wrong!
The Taiwan
what
Empire
kind of
killed.
truly fucked up. I'm on Johnny's side on this one. That's kind of fucked up.
The Taiwan Empire kills many things which do nothing to it. In fact, they kill most everything they find.
I'm gonna guess that includes tieflings. I just because we're unfortunate.
We, uh-huh.
I do not like them.
Yeah, I don't like them
Oh.
either.
Out of
Oh,
you're my
see?
favorite shorties, but I do not. I especially do not like them.
Should we
Right.
set his tent on fire at night and then run the fuck
No,
away?
no, we should not.
No.
Isaac,
How close are you when you ask this?
I think we've moved a fair distance away.
Okay.
Alright, keep walking. Look,
Sill's
don't
not
worry
stupid
about it.
enough that he would say that outside.
That's it.
of this
Yeah,
man's-
still, don't worry about it. We're gonna savor our secret revenge on this particular individual.
All right, perfect.
I would like that.
What I will say is that at home we have a lot of concerns about the Taiwan Empire's opinion of themselves and what they are. We are fairly safe, however, we prefer to relate to other people by trade, not fighting.
Well, obviously, they do not
Yes.
always like to just trade.
Yes, it's a problem for us because we try to trade with them and we end up having to kill some of them, and it's very sad and it gets very messy.
This
So-
is why furbolgs need to learn to defend themselves. Can't have these people go around killing unicorns. Anyway, what were we doing?
We're gonna go extract the story from someone at the Bilge Rat.
Let's do that.
Just for
Mhm.
context, do you guys still all have blood on your clothes? Like,
No.
No, I think we've been cleaned. Part of it rained a shit ton, but part of it's like Bravo's also like cleaned us some. If you look carefully,
Geo has a bag that's like bzzz of like flies kind of flying around it.
also
that.
like if you're looking in it, there's the skin of a gnoll in it.
A bunch of fucking person.
Yeah. Bravo cleaned us fairly thoroughly, but he can do nothing to make Geo anything but a degenerate.
Look, the octopi are not keeping well after being skinned. What can I say?
Yeah.
I hope that one day we learn magic to preserve this goddamn skin so our friend doesn't smell like disease and rot.
Trust me, I am working on it. I'm trying to find a way. That is,
I think I know of a way. The problem is that I don't think Geo would be happy with me magically altering his skins.
Best not destroy them. I'm okay with taking them to a tanner to be cleaned or something like that, or to have some done with them. But destroy them, I would take that personally. You would owe me a skin in exchange.
And are some skins worth more than others?
Yes, indeed. Some skins are worth more than others. The skin of a rare creature or an interesting skin, perhaps a skin covered in tattoos, would be worth more than an ordinary one.
Yes. His
You
favorite is
need
the
to be
skin of
picking up
people.
what's going on.
Sil like holds his arms like where his tattoos are at. Like, I think you cannot have my fucking skin.
Like my character just like ties
Dear.
him up and down, like looking at the
Dear.
tattoo.
You are my friend. I have given you a token of my protection. I will not be taking your skin.
And also, Sil, I have more tattoos than you, so if he was deciding to be a psychopath and skin us, he'd probably go for me first.
I think
Probably. You would
also
but anyway, I don't think that's likely. Part of it, I only take skins of creatures that I participate in the killing of. So even if you were to fall down a cliff like Bravo has done twice now, and die from it, like Bravo
What?
has almost done twice now,
I have not died.
almost. I would not take your skin. I
I
would
was
leave you
relatively
buried.
healthy.
I know, Bravo. What I mean to say is you don't have to
think
worry about me taking your skin. Any of you. I don't really know you that
that
well.
is a
Unlikely. I say, pointing to Grimace. I am interested by what I have to see. It looks like it's darker than normal. Were you injured? I say, pointing like towards the neck.
Long ago, yes.
Hmm.
And it's clear like that's the only detail that he wants to give up.
Gotcha.
So a little bit of quiet as you walk, and after a little bit of time, you can start to see sort of the sun setting over the ocean to your west. You see the bilge rat. The bar is sort of set up facing west, as what you imagine the innkeeper is sort of lighting the two lanterns on either side, giving it a bit of a glow as these two lanterns rock sort of side to side, lighting the front.
okay.
So he's lost his ship. And he's got a story to tell. But for some reason he doesn't want to tell it. Do you think it's a pride thing?
I don't know. You guys want to go for a little bit of mind control to try to get it out of him? Just like shortcut this thing,
No.
or
I see what you're saying. I know the trick you were gonna do with the our friend the Null. Billy. I think we could talk. I think we should just try and talk with this guy without doing magic or anything right now. Magic might upset him if he finds out he's been ensorcelled.
But
I
also,
I can look like someone else, and I'm pretty good at talking. So there may be a thing of like, I could be someone else, and maybe I get the story out of him that way. We got to think about what.
Bravo just looks at them while he like reaches into his shirt and pulls out the amulet he has from home, kind of with a little sigil of home. Well, also we could just make friends with him, buy him a few drinks, and get him drunk, and then have him share his woes with us.
Sounds like a plan. So why don't we just go in there and talk about how we're gonna buy a ship to passage to Bravo Land, wherever that is, and sort of as we're
It's not
talking
called
about
that.
it and reminiscing, we'll try and get the story out of him. And maybe Grimace or Syl can pick his pocket if he's a little inebriated.
That would certainly make it easier, probably. But I think that that's for Grimace to do. It's his mission. And while I would certainly love to pick a drunk man's pocket, just for old time's sake, think I think I better let him have this one.
My character nods at him.
Plus, if I were to take this job from him, I'm pretty sure he would steal stuff from me. So,
I'll step into the shadows and whoosh, becoming the innkeeper from the Tipsy Whisker.
Okay, so you sort of become like a more mature-looking elven woman, sort of braid back hair, sort of the signs of aging around the eyes.
I don't know. He might go for me.
I could. But, I had, right? Hmm. Well, I guess we go in. Yeah?
I suppose.
After you, madam.
Right, I will go.
Go ahead. I'll enter.
Okay, so is it 5 at once? Is it a couple at a time? What's sort of the entrance order?
I think we're doing 5 at once because we're all saying we're going to be on the same ship together.
Okay.
I think that Syl's gonna stay separate.
Okay.
Just in case things go wrong, he can swoop in and like try to charm shit. He's gonna go in and try to score a performance gig right now.
Okay.
So he'll wait and for a few minutes after they've gone in.
Okay, so the first 4 entering, the bar itself, it's shady in like decor and lighting. Seems to be lit by lanterns sort of hanging at every few support posts. And you would imagine, even like looking around, that a lot of this wood is kind of reclaimed from once was ship wood. You know, you can see the occasional barnacle here or there. There's also sort of a fishing net that seems to go across sort of the top area and sort of ends towards the bartender where sort of the barrels of ale are kept. No one seems to mind you much as you enter.
How busy is it?
There's probably about 30 tables, and maybe half of them have people at them. Make a perception check for more.
I'm going to let other people do it.
Raph, are you making a perception check as well?
Wait, so if I make it on the D&D Beyond, does it automatically go to roll 20?
No. You got to do it on the roll 20.
Because I still don't have a character sheet for.
Well, you just have to add the number that's on your D&D Beyond sheet to it.
All right, then. In that case, I'll roll D20.
Right, I got a 20 total.
Okay. And then you got a 11 total. So looking around, you both notice a couple of things.
Mine would be 15.
15. Okay, good. So with a 15, the both of you are able to see the sort of off to one side. There seems to be someone that has sort of the look of the sea about them. Their skin quite tanned and leathery. You can even see like a bit of like a spot where like they once wore a hat that they no longer are wearing. that's left like a much more paler spot towards the top of their bald scalp. Sort of a shorter, stouter man with sort of graying, almost white beard and sort of small trimmed areas, though a little bit gruffy around the sides as if they haven't shaved in a bit. With the 20, you're able to see that the bartender is packing a fairly large knife sort of at his hip. It seems to be fairly well hidden, but he's got like a leg holster you're able to spot out.
All right. I'll sit next to them.
Sit next to the individual that you've, or the bartender.
The individual that I think might be the captain.
Okay. So you sit next to him. It's kind of a booth area that's a little U-shaped. He's sort of off to the one side of it, but you sit like sort of across from him, and he sort of grumbles a little bit while looking into his mug.
I can see that you have reached a level of melancholy.
Aye, he would say, sort of taking a sip before setting the cup down.
I'll sit next to Bravo and then this man. Greetings, I'm Felicity.
A little loss, he would say, before once again reaching for his drink. You see kind of like his eyes don't really open much more than halfway, and his eyes are a little sort of down gaze as he takes another drink and sets it down.
Now, because of how I'm from, I can recognize a sailor anywhere. However, I do not know why a sailor would be so melancholy.
Lost my ship.
Excuse me. Oh, how does one lose a ship? Bravo, we're not going to lose our ship, are we?
No, we will not lose the ship.
What can only be described as an act of piracy, my dear.
The pirates? You didn't tell me they were pirates.
Well, of course it's pirates. There's pirates everywhere.
Not on land.
Those are
He would like point one of these like sort of really wide sausage fingers at that before going back to sort of
Tell me, what did these vile pirates take?
I don't know if I can believe me own eyes on this one. Things get scrambled when you be out on the sea.
Aye, they do. However, given where I'm from, I'm very used to respecting the eyes of sailors, especially ones wise enough to know that the sea plays tricks.
He would sort of look you over a little thoroughly.
I'm outwardly wearing like my amulet from the island, and I'm generally dressed like one, and I speak with the accent.
I think I've heard of your kind before. You're one of those, Antoines, aren't you?
Oh, yes, more or less.
Aye, my vessel is one of your making, so to speak.
Oh,
Oh, of course, it's the best vessels.
what does it look like, I guess? I haven't seen many of his kinds of vessels.
They're made of hardwood.
I see.
In such a way that, you know, that despite the storm and the rocking, the end of the day, blue skies is where you're sailing and you're gonna make it there. The masts are tall. The sails broad. Aye, she was a beaut. The Antoinette, we called her.
Oh,
You see him kind of running his fingers across the table, eyes a little glazed over.
Well,
And how,
surely you can help this man, Bravo. This is the ship's named after your family.
well, my island, but yes.
What are the rest of you doing
Family of
right now?
sorts.
Ajanet, Grimace, and Syl.
Well,
You go.
I don't know if I'm even in the bar yet.
Probably been 3 or 4 minutes at this point.
Okay, so at this point, I'm talking to the bartender, asking him about performing a set.
Oshana is sitting near the door, just drinking.
Okay.
I would be, Grimace would be leaning against the wall, like adjacent to where Bravo and the rest of them are talking, with his back turned while he's just listening in.
Okay. So Syl at the bartender. The bartender is a gruff-looking dude. He looks like he's not very tall, but he looks very scrappy. Even has like an eye that seems like milky, almost as if like he's blind in one eye.
Right. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Name's Syl. I'm a bard of some marginal renown. I was thinking perhaps I could put on a show. You don't gotta pay me. I just take tips. Seems like you got a lot of seafaring folk here. Thought I'd place my sea shanties.
You
Type
see, like
music.
he's like pretty neutral until you see sea shanties, and then he starts nodding. We have use for you. Tell me, how many shanties you know?
Oh, I know most of them. I know the Wellerman. I know, blow the man down. I know pretty much anything you could.
Do you know Leave Her Johnny?
That's the one who goes, leave her, Johnny, leave
Aye, that's the
her.
one.
I can do that one.
All right, very well.
Yep.
Play your tunes, and if things get lively, I'll throw a few coins your way.
Hey, never say no to a few coins, you know. All right, I'll just set up there. All right.
Yeah, feel free to move those 2 booths. And he would like take out his knife kind of from underneath his waistband, start picking at one of his teeth. It's kind of this long, sort of like buck knife.
Wonderful. Yeah, and so I move the I move him.
Okay. So you scoot a few out of the way to sort of start your performance. The group that's at the table.
I'll wave down the barmaid and just give her a sack of 10 gold and say, "Please keep the good stuff flowing to this table, if you would please."
She would sort of open it, see a bit of the glitter, and you see her eyes widen as she tightens it. Gives you a bit of a nod before heading towards the bar.
Right, so my friend, I have just paid us a rounds aplenty. Why don't we spend those rounds reliving the last great story of the companionship of both my home and you?
Make a persuasion check.
I am assisting.
Sure. I don't like that I left my hallway light on, because I feel like at any point, like, someone could just step out and it's like, Dorime. I'm like, oh, God.
Although if the light's off, he just steps out. No one knows.
Well, that's better for me. Out of sight, out of mind, you know?
It is.
Yeah, so what's the total on that?
18.
18? You'd see him sort of
Does the
look...
abundance of booze
look towards you. His cheeks are a bit rosy at this point. You can tell he's had a bit to drink up to this point. And as sort of the prospect, as you know, sort of mugs are starting to be passed around the table, sort of looks into it. I suppose I can pass the story on to the ship's makers.
Much appreciated.
Well, then listen closely to my tale, he would say.
It's still singing "Lever, Johnny Lever" at this point.
Yeah, there's like the nice background of and like a few different sailors in the bar sort of pick up at the chorus. It's not. Go ahead and make your performance check. The sailors are not super well trained in singing, but they will assist.
Oh yeah.
Cold to your Witcher.
So we'll do 2d20. 15. which
Okay.
is not bad. Not
It's-
great, but not bad.
It's enough to give like a bit of sort of a background to this story.
Yeah.
But he sort of like gets a little more serious as he like leans down, sort of sits up in his chair, holds his mug close. We were traveling south from Saint-Jean upon the Antoinette, with cargo destined for Port Gael. Sort of seems to like look around almost reminiscently. 10 days into the trip, and we hear sounds of distress out on the water. Yelling. Popping in the light. We go to check to see if there's some poor vessel in need. And we see a vessel in need. Some poor merchant vessel in splinters. Fire on the surface of the waves, sailors in the water. What's left of the rig going down, down, down to the depths, he would say, like pulling an imaginary hat from his head, sort of holding it to his heart. That's when I saw it. A great black galleon. Surface of the ship draw eyes, you see. It weren't made of no wood I'd ever seen before. And affixed to the front was a great yellow eye. I ordered my men to turn and flee, and that's when I felt its gaze upon me, ravenous, hungry. I tried to run, but I could not. I could do naught but stare into its eye. In the background.
Yeah.
I know not what came over me, but soon the ship lurched as our anchor released from some foul witchcraft. Then that's when I saw its sails unfurl, great crimson, and billowing from each of the gun holes, dark black smoke across the water surface, giving unnatural speed to the ship. As they approached, I closed my eyes, breaking gaze with this great yellow eye. I ran from the deck and jumped into the water. And that's when I heard it. Cannon fire. They ravaged the side of me ship, unloading upon us. Splinters my ship was left in. And I cast adrift once more onto the sea with naught but a raft made of the very board that read the Antoinette. I sat on the surface for some days before another merchant vessel came by and picked me up. I can tell you 3 things. The Crimson Scourge is what they call that yellow-eyed vessel. They say the devil himself captains that vessel. And it haunts these waters. he would say, before sort of taking a long, sort of deep swig, all the way like head upturned, glass all the way down before kind of pounding it on the table.
Bravo, I think this might be beyond us. I also think I'm reconsidering my passage. A friend, Captain, you had you described the eye as yellow. Was it yellow or gold?
Somewhere in between is probably fair.
All right.
From what I know of the Crimson Scourge, it normally hunts waters farther south of what will be sailing.
It attacked me 3 days west of here.
For the city, that's
Did you
somewhat
see
at
any-
its doors.
Did you see any of the ships make?
Any of the ships what?
Any of its make? Did you see any distinctive architecture?
It weren't made of no wood I'd ever seen before. It pulsed and squirmed.
Right, but you said a galleon. Galleons typically have fairly distinctive hulls.
Aye, this hull was distinctive. I'm not sure you're picking up on it.
So you did not see any distinctive style of any one shipwright, or even area.
The ship be alive.
Yes, that's what they're saying. It's not like there's no ship maker for such a strange thing. You described them as
presumably how.
you described them as a pirate, but typically in piracy, I'm trying to steal something. The ship looked like it was hunting your ship, or hunting ships in general.
Well, we had plenty of valuables aboard.
Oh, so you think it stole from your ship after it destroyed it?
I can only imagine. They never found the furs or the silks that were upon it.
Understood. Sorry to bring that up.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Please enjoy the drinks I have brought you.
Aye, he would say as he's handed another one.
And I'll recline and talk to and kind of look to Felicity. No, typically, we on the island have heard of this ship. Typically, we always heard of them staying relatively static. It is odd that it has moved. Felicity, are you awake? Have you drunk too much?
Sorry, you're being very quiet right now. What were you asking?
Upon the island, we have heard of this ship. However, it was typically kind of static. It's odd that it has moved so fast.
Understood. I don't know if you're trying to reassure me, but it's not working.
Well, I do not think that you need to worry, unless you particularly have a reason to worry about ships from hell.
You've just... No, I don't think you're encouraging me. I think you've just made it more likely that this captain has claimed it's more likely we'll see this ship because it's only 3 days off to port.
Barnabas, madam, he would say as he goes to take another drink.
Barnabas, sorry. I'm like, I would cast my eyes looking around for Grimace.
He's not hard to spot. He's sort of positioned himself nearby.
Yeah.
There would be a voice in your head. No words are spoken aloud, but a just kind of a stream of thought would head your way.
All right.
Are you going to take it?
When I hear that, like Grimace looks around suspiciously, like around the room, confused about where that voice came from. But when he looks over to you guys and sees that his companion's looking at him, he nods his head,
I
and he
will-
and then he like it starts to make his way over.
Okay.
Okay, how are you approaching the table?
He will be walking as if like he's intends on walking past the table.
Okay.
As if he were on his way to the bar itself.
Probably the right direction, like the restroom area, is sort of beyond that, sort of where they keep.
Okay. Yeah, no, 'cause-
Versus the bar would be a little more out of your way. It would be like a very odd path. It'd be like a
in
be
that
like
case,
a
yeah,
big check.
as if he were to go to the restroom.
Okay.
Just be walking along that path.
Sure. So Grimace walks by. You can see sort of top vest pocket where you were told there is a glint of silver.
And he's sorry, the captain is so he's already finished his tale.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Seems that way.
He's now getting properly sauced.
In that case, I try to do like a brush pass with him. I'll accidentally run partially into him and try to pickpocket it once we collide.
Okay. Yeah. Roll a sleight of hand. Correct.
Yep.
I was say 5e skills. There's some that are the exact same name and some that are like
Mm-hmm.
thief check.
I'd like to I'd like to assist like that as they like bump into them that they somehow bump into me and that I'm like askance that this has happened. Like I'm whatever.
You cast distraction.
Okay. So Raph, you
Well, it
can
would be
roll as
that-
advantage.
It would be that plus 7, so okay, I'll roll it again.
You're being assisted.
Better.
Okay, yeah, it's the first one. So 25.
Yeah, so as you kind of go by bumping the table, the cups slosh a little bit. Sort of sloshing onto Gio's hands. But you're able to kind of slip your fingers in and sort of pocket the watch before
And then
walking away.
I keep going, yeah, I don't stop.
Okay.
Kind of look at the hands and sort of try and clean them off.
You want me to teach him a lesson, miss? I'll give him the old sailor's welcome.
I kind of look over my shoulder at him. You see that he has 2 swords on his back.
Nothing a little liquid courage wouldn't fix, he would say, sort of sipping a little more.
Put a hand on like his arm or his shoulder. I admire your courage, really. I don't think it's necessary. The fact that I've touched him though does mean he gets to make a check against the disguise self.
Okay. And it's
I
a
think
wisdom save?
That's how it works. I gotta look at disguise.
I imagine it's a wisdom save against.
Intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to notice.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Bravo is just looking into his alcohol at this scene, like, oh.
So I would make my way to the restroom, and when I enter the area, is there like a window or something?
Yeah, there's probably a few windows. They're all fairly high because again, it's a place for relieving oneself. But you know, there may be 2 feet tall, a little bit wider than that, but you know, 9 feet in the air, maybe a little less.
I would try to exit the area or exit through one of those.
Okay. Acrobatics or athletics check.
I'll make an acrobatics.
Okay.
So let's see.
Yeah.
Bathroom, I hear someone slam their head against the wall.
Yeah. So you hear like like the sounds of like stuff falling over in the bathroom, kind of like a boom, 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 boom.
Alright.
You would see Barnes kind of God, what was coming to him, I thought.
Probably dropped those ridiculous swords.
Probably.
Ah, you can't be sitting with one of those on your back.
Probably not.
Probably not very good when you're like trying to maneuver to relieve oneself either.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to pay the musician and then retire. Thank you for your company, Captain Barnabas. I would approach, head over to Syl, give them 3 silver pieces. Just say you're very good. A couple of claps, and then exit.
So, Captain, I can say that the island.
At this point, Syl is singing "Castrating Katie." I don't know if you guys know that one, but it's,
I don't know that one.
pretty wild.
Alright, well,
Pretty wild.
at this point, I can proudly tell you that the island has many exciting new technologies in its shipwright these days. Should you decide to return to the seas, there is many good options.
Maybe one day I'll get up the funds to charter another boat, another ship of mine.
Well, I'm sure with your experience, you could still work the seas to get some money.
Maybe, he says, sort of sitting back. Maybe I'll just retire.
Perhaps. Well, I am a younger man, and I'm still in a lot more rush. I will see you later, Captain Barnabas.
Alright, get out of here.
And then I'll just leave.
Okay. So it leaves Syl, Ajanet, and Grimace still in the residence of the bilge rat.
Yeah, I would after slipping and hitting my head on the side of the wall.
You didn't slip and hit your head, but you did knock over the chamber pot, which you're pretty quick, but there is like that element of kind of nastiness that has creeped onto your boots.
Nice, great. I guess my character would just like exit the restroom normally and make his way out the tavern.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way out, and there's a bit of a chuckle from Captain Barnabas' table as you walk past.
Yeah, I don't engage or anything like that. It just
Would leave when I see him leave.
Okay.
When I see Grimace come out, I look at him, blow into my hand, and snap a bit, and he feels like the tingling sensation of needles, like when something goes to sleep, as prestidigitation cleans his boot.
Yeah, she watches kind of of magic, and your shoe is clean, and sort of the residue sort of moves away.
I inspect my boot, surprised to see that. Then he gives Bravo a nod.
It smelled very bad.
How long is Syl singing shanties for?
You know, after they've left, maybe. How long? Okay. The question is, how long has he been going at this point?
Maybe half an hour,
Maybe half an hour.
45
I
minutes.
think he finishes out a 45-minute set, then goes out to where he would expect to find his friends.
Okay. So maybe 5-10 minutes after you leave, you see Syl sort of. You hear like the "Hey!" of like the bar sort of joining in as he finishes up, before you hear the "Bring, ding" of him leaving the front door.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have to return. We have completed all of our tasks in the city at very good time.
So what do you guys learn?
It was sunken by the Crimson Scourge.
Yes, it appears a ship by the name of the Crimson Scourge is responsible for the killings.
Hmm.
A ship from hell.
I'm curious about it just because of the description of the eye and the eldritch nature of it. It might be related, but I really don't know. You were very good, Remus. I'm a bit trained in your arts, so to speak, but I think you're far better at it than I am. For whatever it's worth.
He gives him a nod.
Step back in the shadow. I'm Edward again.
Mhm.
That is a useful trick.
Yeah. It is. Underneath these layers, I'm a tiefling, which can be a bit of a problem. So
Not everywhere.
not everywhere, but a lot of places.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he was described as unwilling to share the story. I thought it was fairly easy to get it out of him.
We were both pretty charming.
And then Brevo hides the amulet again.
Yeah. Well, best to report our findings to the new boss, and then try and charter a ship over to that the other ship that apparently has seen some trouble. I hope we don't run into this Crimson Scourge. I don't think they're taking prisoners.
What I think the chances are the ship he's going to have us investigate is the Crimson Scourge.
If that's the case, we say no deal. That ship is
Yeah.
a ship of legend. That ship will. There's a term. It's specific to Crimson to Sin City. It's called crumping.
We all knew it was coming.
That
But
ship will crump each and every one of us.
You know, I
It
think
has
there's
more cannons on that ship than there are members of our party.
the match and skinniness.
I know it'll be super valuable if we stole it. I know, but it's like a person. It's like a living thing, and it's right now we're not in the position to be stealing this ship.
I said skin.
I know, I get what you're saying too with that. Believe me, I want to. Believe me.
You know, I have heard crumping at home too. I think that we may have taken the term from you. However, I will tell you that if anything is going to crump that ship, it's going to be a navy with an armada, not us.
Not yet. That's my point to you, Johnny. We'll take that ship on, just not right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
That
so I
ship is
guess
like a
we go
dragon.
back to the guy. I made 3 silver from some half-elf lady, Sil says, playing dumb.
Hey, she was full elf.
Was she full elf? I thought she was half-elf.
I forgot. I made the years full elf. Sometimes you forget details.
It's fine. The point
Did you
is,
want your silver back?
Nah, keep it.
Alright.
I'll rob you later.
No, you won't.
I'm so glad that we are so professional and cooperative.
Is your party always like this?
Yes. Yes, this is exactly. Now, Johnny is relatively non-combative, not very contentious, except with other people.
I think they're the most combative. Have you ever seen them hit someone with a hammer?
We had to stop her,
Well,
or literally had to stop her earlier from trying to crump that lieutenant guy.
For killing a
Well,
unicorn.
Yes, but
we
he-
needed
The
defense of
unicorn player.
unicorns, and thank you, Grebo. I think I'm a very peace-loving person.
Yeah, I agree. I think that means if he died, nothing of value would be lost.
I would
mean,
do the
And
motion
perhaps
like
if
this. I can't get to his full height. 6'5" is beyond my limits, but I can be a 6-foot version of like a significantly shorter version of Lieutenant Averin of the Taiwan Empire. So I have his face now, so I can do some things with it. We
No,
can
you can't.
do something.
We could
Arjun playfully smacks him.
Ah,
in this city, it would be known immediately that it was us because we
not in
confronted
this
him.
city, but in other places. In other places, we can shame this man. Back to Everett.
Well, so I guess we go back to Gara. That's the guy's name. Yeah?
Yeah, that'd be the guy. Let's go.
Okay, and as the group of you start to make your way back towards Gara, we will take our 30-minute break. So we will be back in half an hour, and see you then.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Indeed, we are.
Okay, so where we left, the party is now making their way towards sort of the Catagon prison once more. Any stops along the way, or are we taking a fairly straight path?
I think straight path for me.
Same.
Okay. So the group of you travel up, sort of following the path that she recognized from Smith earlier, and you reach Catagon Prison. The guard would be the same guard who's parked out front, who is stationed out front, but he would sort of look towards the group. Yeah, leave the cart and let's go. And he would once again lead you through the area until you arrive at the first set of double doors and then the second. And then he would allow you through.
All right. Mr. Gala.
You can see him like he's got like a bit of charcoal or chalk or something, and he's like drawing a mustache over one of his like statues. Oh, back already.
Well, yes, we've completed the jobs you've given us regarding the Captain Barnabas.
Oh, very well. What did old Barnaby have to say?
His ship was sunken by the Crimson Scourge, a ship shrouded in black wood of unknown make or species, and it has this orangish, yellowish, goldish eye at the front, many cannons, and floats on a black floor.
I think it might be a creature more than a sheep.
Well, that's a shame. Doesn't really seem like my purview. Not much to be stealing from a, as you say, living ship. Well, nonetheless, I'm a man of my word. Guess the main question is, did you get the pocket watch? You'd say, sort of turning to Grimace.
I toss him the pocket watch.
He would catch it and sort of look at it, kind of click it, and it would flip open. Aye, that'll do. Sort of pocketing it. Well, that'll be 90 golds to the crew and 90 golds to you as well. Now, it sounded like you had some questions for me last time we talked.
Yeah, we did. We were hoping to know what you know about Villicrome.
Villicrome, it's not really something you're able to steal. It's got a mind of its own most of the time. It's almost what you would call a self-transmuting metal.
Curiously, sorry to reveal any secrets, but our friend Sil was able to take some from someone.
I imagine there was violence involved.
Indeed, there was.
What I'm saying is no sticky fingers can remove it.
Understood.
Must have stuck you with blood, apparently.
It's a different stick.
Usually the finger's actually slippery when that happens.
Yeah, but
So,
questions.
You know, it depends on the species of blood. If you
I
to
want
be
some
specific.
questions from this man. So, if I were to steal a bunch of stuff from a Verborg community and I would want to sell it or put it somewhere, where would I go to do that?
It would depend on what I stole. Tell me in the scenario what I steal.
I don't know. You don't seem the type to steal animals, but several animals were stolen, and as I said before, the coat, a staff, and a crown.
Was there any value in them?
Yes, they were magical.
Oh, well, there's a large black market for magical artifacts. Uh, he kind of scratches his chin and like leans against the statue a little bit. Precisely where was this metaphorical village located?
This metaphorical village was nomadic, but it was located where, Dungeon Master?
From where you are, you're actually kind of on line with it, north and south, but it's probably 500 miles east.
Would show him on a map. We were there when this happened.
Let's see. We can mark some culprits off. That's fairly landlocked. It's not pirates. So I'd imagine that they're not making the rounds of the port unless someone has taken them there for some reason.
Okay. If it helps, it's a man made of the night sky, your size-ish.
My size-ish or anyone in this room size-ish?
Besides me.
Very well. Maybe the night sky. Now that... I feel like that rings a bell. Sort of think to himself a little bit. I feel like these questions all intermingle. There's some point of intercision.
Yes, they do intermingle.
You're asking about the conclave, aren't you?
I thought so. Thank you so much.
No problem.
They were already on my shit list. They just got higher. Do you do business with Astro Conclave?
No, I don't do business with the likes of them. They don't. They're not my brand.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Syl would remove a single glove and like look at him in the eyes, just pointedly, like trying to convey to him, if you recognize the tattoo, don't say anything.
How are you getting that across?
I just kind of like I'm furrowing my brow and just giving him a glaring look as I take it off, and I ask him, "How do I control it?" And that how do I control it now that I've taken it? The guy I took it from was controlling it.
He would sort of saunter up to you, taking your hand and arm, delicately, but like there is some swiftness to his movements. Kind of looks it over. Well, Your Highness, I'll tell you what. I've never had this close a look at it. You'd say, sort of glancing around. It's got a
Hey, sorry, not to interrupt you. You said Your Highness?
You'd sort of glance it still in the eye. Well,
Oh, just like a little bit of a shake, just a little
More
bit.
like your lowness. That's Sill's head.
short joke, no doubt. What I can tell you is this thing's got a mind of its own.
1 second. Your Highness?
His low
No.
doesn't got the
As far as I understand it, these Villacrone don't respond well to those who aren't little high and mighty. I would imagine the young Syl, he would say, placing an arm, kind of tugging him in, doesn't have or has a quite the high opinion of himself. Am I wrong?
No.
Takes a force of personality to get them attuned to oneself. That's all I meant by it. No offense. Guess they sort of hands up, walking away.
So you don't know of a way to control it then?
No, again, this is the closest I've ever been to one. I'll tell you what, though. If you hear about, oh, what do they call it? Unquestionables. Leave 'em be. They're not the people to be trifled with. If I had to take my chances in a rowboat with the Crimson Scourge or in the ice with one of the unquestionables, it'd be a toss-up.
I'd like to do. Can I do like a history check or something on the unquestionables?
Sure.
Okay. $20.
20, you kind of got a bit of information from this earlier from a natural 20 that you made, but
Mhm.
there was a person that visited where you called home,
Mhm.
and they were ranked as an unquestionable amongst the conclave.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So they are the lieutenants of the conclave. Should they're
Closer to
more
Admiral.
dangerous? Closer to admiral. More dangerous than this demon devil ship.
It's a toss-up. I couldn't tell you which.
Hmm. Would you know any names of these unquestionables? Like if we r- showed you a note that had the signature of some person on it, or the name of some person on it, would you
I've
be able to tell us what kind of person we're dealing with?
only ever encountered one, and at the time I was trying to steal from a dragon, so I had my fair distractions.
I see. Well, okay.
Let's just say. So what you're wearing, this Villachrome, the amount is also significant. Yes. The more you'd have, the more you'd be able to control.
I see, yeah.
Uh, this man was coated in it.
Still opens his shirt to reveal, like, kind of like the super fine layer of, like, swirling blue
It's
that's
not. It's
all over his
like
body.
weird symbols, but like a lot of open skin is visible.
Okay.
Like he would take his finger and like poke your chest. Couldn't do that. I'd see not but your eyes and the inside of your mouth if you were to open.
That's horrifying.
Yes, I can also tell you they've got a bit of culture to themselves. It's not just like not a hobby group.
Yeah, any information you could give us on the actual conclave uh, would probably be helpful. I think he still looks to the rest of the group.
Yes, absolutely. I want as much information as I can get.
They're not welcome to outsiders. You can't join it. You can only be um born into it, maybe.
Okay. And how do they handle people killing one of their own?
Swift vengeance, probably.
Right.
Strike of a great hammer on a anvil white's hot.
I see. Thank you for the warning.
All right.
It is. Your seal is done.
Hmm?
Do you have any?
Did you say I'm dumb?
You said, "Are you like if you're done, then he's gonna start talking."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not what I heard. I'm glad you
Syl
clarified
is
for me.
defensive today.
Huh?
Do you have any scrolls of cantrips here I could purchase from you for 25 gold each?
I don't care much for scrolls. They attract odd types.
Oi.
Don't oi me.
Not an odd type. I've worked directly for you, and I did good work too.
You talk about a living volcano on your island and you jumped into the volcano or something like
And-
bravery or not that.
Is living.
Believe it or not, you're not the type I'm worried about.
It's not hard to talk about it's a volcano as it is. It's a thing. We know it to be true.
Aye, volcanoes are real.
So,
Alright, so we're moving on to the next mission, I think. Do you know the
Yeah.
name of the ship that's infested?
Well, it's my vessel. It just says Gara on the side so people know.
Alright, we'll liberate the Gara.
It's infested by Starhagen or not people.
I imagine that's
Pirate.
amongst them.
Alright, well, I suppose we'll be on our way.
is it a short hike, or do we need to get on a boat to get there?
That's probably 6 miles or so out of the city. Just follow the coast.
That's not so bad.
There's a turquoise rock up on a cliffside. Indicates the entrance.
All right, turquoise rock on a cliffside. Got it. And what's our pay? What are we? You said we could like choose an item out of at random out of your pile of stuff here if we do this.
I could put together a pile. I will warn you, some of the stuff I just like how it looks. Has no value.
Well,
I thought we were being paid 3 times the.
He was
that
asking
is
about the
really-
option. I gave the
Ah.
option.
Still, you're going to lose.
Well, I mean, I'm just losing, share, right?
Yes, you are losing your share.
I can, yeah. That's fine. I'll probably go down in the first, 15 seconds anyway. So,
You better fucking not. I'm going to protect you. I'll stay by your side.
all right.
The Knowles was a one-off. You happened to be in front of us. They couldn't get to you in time.
That is true. Although, if memory serves, that was one of 2 fights where I did not pass out during the fight.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out when it happens.
All right.
Are you with us?
One more
What
time.
was that?
Are you with us, Grimace, on the mission to get the ship?
If you'll have me.
I'll take you.
As long as you know how to use those swords, we could use them in the what I assume will be a very messy job.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Dara. Say you don't know or do not have any scrolls here, but you would know who in the city would.
I think there's probably 2 or 3 places that sell scrolls of any worth.
Would you mind giving me the location?
Sure thing. Do you have a map of the city?
Not of the city specifically. You could just give me the address.
They don't do addresses. It's more like turn left at the blacksmith. Hang a right at the bar. There's a place, Silversmith Scrolls. That's where you'll want to be looking.
Hmm.
Anything else, or are we all done with our business?
I think I'm ready to go. I am prepared. I'll set off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Sil, before you go, you would point towards the statue. One of the hands is kind of outstretched, and on it rests your necklace. Don't leave anything you don't plan on leaving for long.
Oh, the my jade necklace.
Yes.
I I'm like I gulp and I go and I retrieve it and I put it back on. Like yeah. Thanks.
Carry on, soldiers. Carry on. And the group, if you would leave the Catagon prison.
Yep.
Here,
Mm-hmm.
should you be in a crown too?
Should you be in a crown?
I should be.
Are you a princess of your tribe?
Technically.
Is that something
Technically,
you...
is. I don't know. It's interesting. Good to know.
Most of the others are dead. So
Uh,
by disqualification, I am a princess.
Well, at least the line of succession found someone worthy.
Very kind.
do you
Yeah.
want it though?
Interesting question. I don't want my situation. I don't mind being a princess, and I would rather have my entire tribe back, but wanting is an interesting question. Do you want it? It doesn't sound like you do.
Not really. I found what I want. So, and it's a good group of friends who don't beat me or do other horrific things.
Beat you.
Seal, you must tell us. They have earned my ire.
I mean, I've told you, Thatcher.
You told me Creed.
Oh, yeah, Thatcher's his first name.
Thatcher Creed.
Mhm.
But Brevo mentioned the Vaunt family. So he's Thatcher Creed Vaunt?
No, I think he must work for the Vant family. He's like an enforcer. He's a sick fuck.
Yeah, it sounds like he's sick fuck. But fuck him. He should not be here. The friends don't beat each other.
No, they do not.
I'm making a sense motive check.
Very well.
Do I need to oppose with bluff?
I think it's
I don't think
deception, right?
I mean, yeah, deception. 'Cause I don't think I technically told any lies.
You didn't technically tell any lies, but certainly there's like I'm trying to figure out what's going on in your head.
Mhm.
I rolled a 2.
And it's an insight.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, so with the 19, seems like he's telling the truth. This Creed guy seems like a real piece of work.
when next we go to Sin City, we're killing this person.
Yeah, I expect he probably is not currently in Sin City.
You think he's after you?
I think that is likely. Luckily, we're on a different fucking continent, so I think he will have a hard time finding us.
If I ever see him, I want to put my hammer to his knees.
He would, think he'd get a kick out of that.
No, well, I would get a kick out of that. He would not be able to kick anymore.
Yes, Johnny, that is how that works. This whole time we're just walking towards along the coast, I guess, right?
I think we're gonna get a carriage and go, or get our carriage and go west along the coast.
I'm going
I thought we were gonna have to get a boat and go out to sea, but it looks like we can go around the coast.
I'm going to go to the scroll shop.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go to the scroll shop too, huh?
Yeah, you're welcome.
What do you think of that?
I think nothing of it.
Okay. So you make your way to Silversmith's scroll shop. So the windows kind of have like a bit of like sort of dark purple tint to them with like a bit of like speckling on the inside, giving it almost like a little bit of like a skyscape looking windows.
Very nice.
But entering in, it seems to be, you know, a lot of parchment, a lot of ink sort of splayed out. Seems to be a good place to sort of stock up on that sort of thing.
This is nostalgic. I worked here in a place like this. Not here, but I worked in a shop like this for a while.
What is the cost for a first level spell scroll?
I believe it's 50 gold.
Gotcha.
And it could be more or less depending on where you are. But behind the counter, you would see a older looking turtle. You know, very much like Oogway from like, you know, very elderly turtle. You can see like skin wrinkles from the neck down.
Hello, I would like to purchase some scrolls from you.
What are you looking to buy?
Correct. Specifically, I was looking to buy some cantrips, and I was looking to look at your stock of first level scrolls.
Very well. What do you have in mind?
Do you currently have the cantrip firebolt?
I think we have a few of those. He would say, sort of slowly turning around. You can hear like some shuffling. So he's
Hey,
going through like a
well-
scroll case.
While you're back there, would you try to see if you could find a hideous laughter and a sleep? Or a couple sleeps?
Who are you, my wife?
And I suppose if we're just piling onto the man, a ray of frost as well.
Let me write this all down. 5 bolt ray of frost. Yeah. And he continues.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the slots from Zootopia.
Mhm.
He's left her and
Just sleep.
I have all of these.
You got 2 sleep scrolls.
No,
No. All right. Well, I'll take
just
the
the one.
Ignis left and the sleep. Then.
I can get these to you for 4 for 300 gold.
4 for 300.
Yes.
You think you could go a little bit lower?
Wait, which four? Which four? Is that all of the ones that we have mentioned?
Firebolt, Ray of Frost, Hideous Laughter, and Sleep.
All right. Well,
Kind of smacks his mouth together, seeming a little dry as you all stare at each other.
Well,
I pull out my water skin and I offer him a drink. And I say, like, now listen here. We can be reasonable about this. Maybe go a little bit lower. Your four scrolls for 175.
You're saying
You guys are-
175?
Mm-hmm.
The troll
Make
dies
a
of heart attack.
persuasion check.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna try quite that low, but okay.
I gotta go low first. So you can come in with a more reasonable offer.
Pawn
Yeah.
Stars guy over here.
So what's the total?
That's a 9 for me.
What are you trying to do? Rob me?
No, I'm trying to give you a drink.
Yo! The absolute lowest I can go is 300.
That's the same number you said before, my friend.
Now, look, pardon my companion. He does not quite understand the troubles of a scriber and how expensive the business could be. But, with all due respect, the prices of cantrips is much lower. I have the capability to describe separate spells and was only looking to learn those. I believe that you could, in fact, charge less for the cantrip portion than you are currently. Now, I agree. 300? Strong first offer. But I definitely believe you could go slightly lower. I was thinking more like 250.
Tell you what. 275 and you've got yourself a deal.
Alright, Sil. What do you say we go half and half?
Yeah, I'll cover 2/3 of it. Seeing as you're getting a cantrip in the first, and I'm getting 2 first levels.
That's very reasonable of you. Alright,
Yeah.
then we have a deal.
Okay.
What does that come out to?
I don't know, you decided to split 275 into 3 for some fucking reason, so I'm gonna leave that on you. But you hand the gold over.
So I hand him 182 gold and
And I hand him 92.
6 silver.
No, that's 183 and 333333333333333.
You gotta cut it like a silver piece several times.
3 silvers.
Yeah.
And 3 coppers.
Yeah, and 3 pocket lint. But he would sort of scoop it all over before handing the scrolls over.
I appreciate that. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. You as well. You as well. As you slowly leave the store further and further. The words seem to resonate for some reason. But you're able to meet the rest of your friends outside.
All right, are we done with that expedition?
Yes. By the way, I I have a proposition for you, Sil. I can scribe scrolls. However, it would have to learn the spell first.
So you want to learn these spells? I don't think that you could learn them though. These
Why
are
not?
like made. These are spells that are like work with bard magic, not with the wizard magic. You might be able to do the sleep one.
I think you underestimate wizardry.
Yeah, what did I know?
Right. Well, just some things to consider.
Yeah, all right.
So you start heading off down the coast.
Mhm.
Group of you in carts, sort of traversing the coastline looking for some sort of rocky cliffs with a turquoise rock to indicate what would be the entrance to this sort of hidden cove. So I need someone to make a perception check to sort of find this as you travel.
16?
Usually only 2 to do a skill because if a third does it, then the DC gets higher.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just so that we don't have 5 checks every time something happens.
Do we
Yeah.
have to like add our modifier to it? Do we just press?
Yeah, so you could do like a /R 1d20 plus whatever the modifier is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ajanette, looking at the sea, it's getting pretty dark at this point. Just the thought of dead unicorns is like pissing you off to the point you're having trouble concentrating, really. But Geo sort of scanning the cliff sides from your perched position. After maybe an hour of travel, you kind of spot it. There's rocky outcropping that's, maybe a few 100 feet wide. But you can see sort of up towards the top a turquoise stone about the size of like your torso.
Azul. Ah, the blue stone. It's here. I pointed out to the other members of the party. We should prepare to arrive to a infested ship.
All right. Well, let's do it. I mean, nothing I can cast is gonna be much help. Like I imagine we're still a decent enough distance off that heroism being cast right now is not gonna do us any good. But
Agreed.
perhaps our stealthier members could try to move up there and try to move up there and scope things out so that we know a little bit more of what we're dealing with before we charge into battle, which is a little bit opposite of what we normally do. I get that, but
No, that sounds like the kind of modus operandi I generally support.
so Grimace, you wanna
Alright,
go
I'll scout
scout with
ahead.
me?
The
Why
two
don't
of
you
us?
come here real fast, Grimace? I'll choose you. I am going to give you resistance. It will help you in this endeavor. And I cast resistance on him and maintain concentration.
Okay.
It can add a d4 to any ability check of your decision, so we can do
Cool.
after the fact.
So, Syl and I go scout ahead.
Okay, so you have to make your way sort of up the rocky outcropping because it doesn't seem like there's any like obvious enter, so to speak, entrance sort of towards the ground level, the more sea level. But after doing strenuous but not like dangerous sort of hiking slash climbing, you're able to make it up towards where you were pointed out this turquoise rock. Investigation checks from the two of you just sort of suss out a secret entrance.
Okay. Investigation is one that I okay. I don't know.
Mine gets +2, so 12.
Okay.
That's a 22 from Syl.
Okay, so the two of you sort of looking through, um, sort of glancing over the area. Grimace sort of perched up high, getting a more better view of sort of down below. So you're able to like clear this bush out of the way, and within it you can see what seems to be a tunnel, sort of going deeper into this rock. It's not like a drilled tunnel, but it's more like stones fell in such a way that this sort of clearing between the rocks that goes deeper in.
Okay. I motion up to Grimace like, hey, I found this hole here.
Alright, I head up to the hole and look at the tunnel. So
Okay.
it goes deep into like the hill, like the
Yes.
shoreline.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a rocky outcropping. There's a lot of solid rocks, but there's also like a lot of looser stones that are fairly large. But this seems to be like a hole that was made like maybe if someone had removed the stones carefully and still left like a hole intact where stones once were. And it seems to wind sort of deeper into this outcrop.
Can I toss a rock just to see how deep it goes? Like,
Yeah, I mean it goes like forward and then winds down. So it's not like a deep pit. It doesn't go straight down. It's like a little more winding. But yeah, sure, you can toss a rock if you want.
yeah, just so I can get a sense. Like I hear it bounce off the like sides.
Sure. Yeah, just make a general dexterity check for me.
And that would be that would be +3. So
Okay. So with an 11, you kind of take the rock, you throw it, you can hear kind of ting as it bounces, you think to the left, and then you can hear it kind of get quieter as it goes further. So you think the kind of tunnel curves left and then perhaps goes downhill some amount.
Okay, I guess wouldn't one of us stealth on ahead and get a look, or the other goes back and leads the group here? I don't know. Does it seem like a smart idea?
You can go get the rest of the group. I'll look a little bit further ahead.
Okay. I'll go get the rest of the group, lead them here. Make sure you come back. Wouldn't want a new friend to perish with out of sight. You know.
I'll try.
Then Syl strides away.
Okay, Grimace, you've kind of been pointing out the secret entrance. You've checked sort of what the tunnel's rough architecture's like. How much further in do you go?
Uh, I go a decent amount in, like very carefully, trying to watch to see if there's like any spots that would be good for a trap, or like I try to test like the ground, like maybe jumping on like certain rocks to see if like it looks like the whole area will collapse.
Okay. And are you doing this stealthily or are you just traveling normally?
Stealthily.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth check as you kind of do some scouting of the tunnel.
Alright, so just for the sake that I don't have to keep like saying my modifier, like so you just do slash d20, like
Slash R,
R,
1d20, and then plus whatever it is. So, like, let me see if I can. Yeah, there you go.
alright.
So, what's the total on that?
26.
Okay. So, you kind of are standing there and just kind of a puff of smoke as you sort of vanish and kind of go down the tunnel very stealthily. Like, you're eyeing loose stones and moving yourself accordingly to not even like knock a few of those loose. Even comes like past the point that you're moving through and there's like a small like rat or something that doesn't even spot you kind of there as you sort of pass by it. But after kind of doing a few tests, it seems like everything's pretty solid. You don't think that like like a strong person could get into this tunnel and probably collapse it if they really tried at it, but you don't think there's like a chance of collapse. And as you kind of get to the edge of the tunnel, you come to an area where there's like a rope dangling down into a more open cavern. And within it, you can hear water lapping.
So when I go to the edge, I see the rope. Can I see further in? Because I do have dark vision.
Yeah, make a perception check. You just have to reverse the slash and the R.
Right. God damn it.
Slash is almost as sneaky as you are.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, so looking in, you can hear the sound of something rocking on the water. Seems fairly large. You can kind of hear it echoing the. But other than that, you don't see or hear anything. Besides, of course, kind of the sounds of moving water.
So the only way like to get further would be to go down the rope, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Alright, then in that case I draw like I'm assuming the floor is like it's just like sand or whatever.
It's like rock where you are. If you lower it down, it looks like sand.
Try like just make a little indentation with an arrow pointing further up. in case like the rest of the party were to walk through the tunnel, they would see.
Sure. Yeah, you could take like a small piece of like charcoal or
Yeah,
soot or something, kind of draw an arrow.
yeah, make an arrow, and then I make my way down the rope.
Okay. Sort of hand over hand, moving very quietly, boots on the ground. This point, Syl has reached the rest of the party.
So what we found a tunnel that goes in. We think it probably leads to some sort of entrance to this cove. So
All right, let's
follow
go.
me. I can show you. It's pretty well hidden. So I'll show you guys where it's at, and then we can go in.
Let us proceed.
And so I guide them back to the hole.
Okay.
How long did the trip over the site take?
A little over an hour.
Okay, so in 5e, it takes 1 hour or 2 hours per spell level to try to learn a spell into your spell book. For level 0 spells, would you say it takes 1 hour?
Roll a d2 for me. On a 2, yes. On a 1, it takes 2 hours for each scroll. You're struggling with the scroll, man. You're like, firebolt. Firebolt. But as the group ascends the mountain, Grimace, you are standing in sand. You can see ahead of you, it looks like the edge, it's a small sort of beach area. And further up, it becomes like dock almost. You can see like wood sort of planks continuing off into the darkness.
So I see what seems to be like the source of the sound.
Not from where you are.
All right, then I guess I keep going further.
Okay, so advancing forward another 20 or so feet, I'd like you to make another stealth check.
Alright.
And remember, you do have resistance, so you can add a d4 if you would like.
So is that like just one for everything? One, I get to use that one time, like.
One time.
Yeah.
It's guided, but yes.
Got it. And I have to make that before I make the check?
You can make it after.
Okay, in that case, yeah. I'll find out how low my roll is. Oh, that one. Yeah, I would actually. A freaking another nat one, dude. All right. So yeah, I just roll a 1d4.
Mm-hmm.
Does the nat 1 auto fail?
We'll see. Yeah, so natural 1, total of a 10.
Yeah.
Sort of as you're approaching, walking up,
I step on a twig.
there aren't any twigs here, but as you're walking across some of the planks, like one of these planks must be very old and rusty as it kind of as your foot goes through it. And from within the chamber, you hear like a and then a few more like kind of echoing throughout the chamber. And as you kind of stand there, like eyes a little wide looking around, we will end the session here.
Wait, what?
Yeah?
Damn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so
Dude.
Frogged on, son.
Frog.
Not
I'm
the
feeling
frogs.
froggy.
get,
We got an animal lover in our party, so it's not like I can.
you got frogs, dude. Like MTV logo. Dude, he just got frogged.
Dude, oh my god, it's freaking what is that? Two
But
nat
also
one.
like Shadow of Innsmouth horror.
Yeah.
Try to acrobat my way out the window. No, try to. God.
No, we're in an underground cavern. There ain't no window here.
I'm talking about earlier at the tavern.
Yeah. So we'll pick this up next week with what's happening in the cove, and hope to catch y'all then. Later.
Cool.
And well,